These guys are so cool. When I was in high school, I always saw a bunch of Chinese guys sitting beside the street, smoking and drinking a bubble tea. They even had a car beside them and some hot chicks. In my first year of university, they used to be my hero. I wanted to be just like them in the future. Their lifestyle was so tempting to me, gathering around with the other playboys, smoking, drinking, driving the car with chicks. That used to be the level that I can never reach. I remember that the first time when I went to a nightclub in my first year of university, I was a helpless kid with my backpack on, and I just stood beside the wall for an hour, and then I just quickly escaped from there. So these playboys were my models. I used to dream about becoming one of them, and then what happened recently had completely changed my mind about these people. So recently I was invited as a photographer for shooting some photos in one of the nightclubs that I went once in my first year of university. In my second year, third year, and fourth year, I have never been to the nightclub anymore. But still, the first few times I had a traumatized memory about going into these nightclubs. I still had a very low self-esteem. But in this time, when I go to a nightclub again, what I saw really shocked me. These type of people that I mentioned above were still there, and at the moment when I saw them, they look like absolutely a piece of shit. They look like a piece of shit. None of them have a solid physique. None of them have the look of alpha. All the impression that they gave me was the homeless person that spent their whole day drinking and wasting time. That was all my impression to them when I went back to that place again. And then the second thought came in my mind. Then it wasn't really a surprise, because look at their lifestyle. For their entire life in the university, they spend very little time on their hard works. That includes sports, that includes learning things, improving their skill sets. They spend almost zero time on this, and they spend their entire life chasing for women, drinking, smoking, vibing with their homies. That's what they do all day. And also sometimes when I finish my class, some of these people were smoking beside the bubble tea shop, and they're drinking their bubble tea, they're smoking, pretending they're a tough guy. But man, if you look at their physique, they're skinny as fuck. They look like a fucking chopstick. And that's why people have stereotypes for the Asian. They look like fucking chopsticks. For the 4 years, all their mindset was to, seeking for the instant gratification. How many women can I get? Where is the cool place to have a drink? That's all they're thinking. Then when I reflect to myself again, do I really want to be one of them? Wasting my 4-year university life chasing all this nonsense. Chasing all this nonsense, because when I hit the third year and fourth year in the university, the women that they used to have started to leave in them, because the women's hypergamy is going to reach to a much higher phase, and with their status, with their money, they can no longer retain a woman in their current lifestyle. In the third year, fourth year, they all lost their women, and they don't have the knowledge for the red pill. They're fucking beta simp. And then if you see how they interact with a girl, that was the shittiest thing I ever seen. They have absolutely no knowledge about maintaining their frame, being like a high value man at least, but they have none of this knowledge about that. That really reminds me how important it is for us to be dedicated on doing the hard work. The worst thing that I would think about my lifestyle is to be like one of them. They used to be fucking god to me in my first year, but then in my fourth year right now, when I look at them, they were garbage. Absolutely garbage. All they have left right now is a moderate level of fancy clothes and a skinny face and fancy hairstyle. That's it. That's all they have right now. They spend their whole time chasing for this nonsense, and then they lose their money because their parents is reducing their support on them. They're hoping him to have a job. He loses status because he's still a fucking student. He's still a fucking university student on the bottom line of society. And all they have left is the look. And they don't even have a solid physique. Some of them are fat as a pig, and some of them are skinny as an ant. So do you really want to be like them? If you spend time chasing women in your university or even in your high school. For now, I'm just feel so lucky that I went for self-develop. Because in my third year and fourth year, if I still pursuing what I was pursuing in the first and second year, I'm going to get myself into the real trouble. So if you're watching this video right now, and if you're high school or even first year of university, don't be like one of them. Like, you should never chase a woman that way. The high school and your university life should be the most precious time for you to build your physique, to build your skill sets, and use them to find a job in the future. If you have the income and also the fundamental skill for you to survive in the society, that means you can pay the price of interacting with women. Because if you wanted to really reach their hypergamy, that is the only thing you need to do. You need to put hard work in, because there's no shortcut in the life. And if you seek for the shortcut, these people are the example where it's going to be ended up. So it's really important for us to put hard work in our life when we still have time.